And now the chairman of the Tangol Pradeshia Sabha, Sampath Chandrapushpa Vidhanapathirana, who was arrested in connection to the alleged murder of a British national, was placed in remand custody until the 27th of March by the Colombo High Court.
Yes, the accused was arrested last night in court by officers attached to the Criminal Investigations Department after a warrant was issued against him by the Colombo High Court.
Chairman of the Tangol Pradeshia Sabha is accused of murdering a British national and raping his girlfriend. The chairman, who was previously arrested, was released on bail on the 17th of October last year. However, as he failed to appear before court on the 9th of this month to sign a document pertaining to his bail bond, a warrant was issued against him. When the arrested chairman was produced before the Colombo High Court, he was rejected bail.
The third suspect of the case was arrested by the CID last evening. Today, the courts looked into all the matters and ordered the suspect be remanded until the completion of the case and ordered that the case be taken up on the 25th, 26th and the 27th of March.
Now, in case you're just tuning in, you're watching Newsfirst Primetime News on MTV Sports, and it's now time for the newspaper cartoon of the day.
And still in local news, the final rites of the late Agamaha Pandita, Most Venerable Valigama Sri Jnana Ratana Thera, the chief incumbent of the Amarapura Sri Dharma Rakshita Maha sector, was performed this evening in Mount Lavinia.
The cortege heading to Mount Lavinia commenced from the Mallikaram Vihare in Ratmalana. The late Venerable Valigama Sri Jnana Ratana Thera was born on the 14th of October 1913. He was ordained in the year 1925 at the Nigrodharama temple in Thalape and obtained Upasampadava in 1933. He was appointed as the chief prelate of the Amarapura Sri Dharma Rakshita Maha sect after the demise of Most Venerable Madiye Panyasiya Mahanayaka Thero. He also served as the chief secretary of the Amarapura Mahasangha Sabhava.
Now, the chief incumbent of the Vajrarama temple in Bambalapitiya, Rajakiya Pandita Shastrapati Venerable Trikunamale Ananda Thero, has been appointed as the new Mahanayaka of the Amarapura Sri Dharma Rakshita sector.
The Sangha committee that convened this evening decided to appoint Venerable Trikunamale Ananda Thero to the post that was left vacant after the demise of late Valigama Jnana Ratana Thero. Venerable Trikunamale Ananda Thero served at the Sri Vajrajnana Dharma Institution in Maharagama. He was the previous Anunayaka of the Sri Dharma Rakshita sect.
Now, in other local news, steps have been taken to amend the regulations that affect Agawud, Sandalwood and Kotala Himbutu.
That's right. The Minister of Wildlife Resource Conservation, Vijit Vijayamuni Soisa, said a bill in this regard is being formulated and will be presented before the Cabinet.
According to Article number 45 of the Fauna and Flora Protection Ordinance of Sri Lanka, Wallapatta or Agawud is a plant that is restricted for use. Exporting this plant is strictly prohibited and transporting, sale and storage of Agawud is in violation of the law. Sandalwood is a protected plant under Article number 42 of the Fauna and Flora Protection Ordinance of Sri Lanka. Sandalwood is used in the production of perfumes and is also an extremely valuable herb. Kotala Himbutu is a herb used in indigenous medicine to cure diabetes and other social diseases. A majority of patent applications in the world have been forwarded for the Kotala Himbutu plant.
Agawud, Sandalwood and Kotala Himbutu belong to the country, but they are being exported. When it is being exported, the revenue that the country should receive is lost. Another thing is that because this is carried out in an ad hoc manner, large amounts of these plants are being destroyed. No matter how strict the law is, these plants are not being protected in a proper manner. Therefore, there is a responsibility to renew these laws and implement them in a practical manner.
Sandalwood and Agawud were among the most illegally exported protected plants in the recent past. a large number of persons were arrested for the possession of ega wood, and the most recent arrest was made yesterday in the Maimbula area in Nitambua. 9 persons were arrested yesterday with over 1 kilogram of ega wood in their possession. During a recent visit to the Samanala mountain range, Newsfirst witnessed firsthand the destruction caused to the ega wood plants due to the increase of the smuggling of ega wood.
The smuggling of ega wood was very famous in the past. These plants were destroyed within the forest in the Samanala mountain range.
Should the law that is in place to protect these plants be renewed?
In the present context, the authorities have failed to protect these plants and species despite having laws and regulations in place. Therefore, the powers of the authorities to protect these plants need to be strengthened and the law should not be weakened. The laws should not be eased.
And now, still in local news, UNP parliamentarian Sajid Premadasa participated at an event held in Walas Mulla yesterday.
Concessionary loans were distributed among women in the Kirama area in Walas Mulla under the Janasovya program at the event, which was held under the auspices of Sajid Premadasa. According to Ministers Rajitha Senaratne and Janaka Bandarathenakon, everyone who swindles money is inside the parliament and members of the UPFA. They also have rapists, child molesters, people who defraud from the treasury, and individuals who import illegal drugs and ethanol. The rich 20% of the population reap the benefits of 54% of the country's income, while the poor people can only enjoy 4% of the country's income. That means the gap between the rich and the poor is widening steadily. There is a growing contrast between the rich and the poor. Meanwhile, a Sasunata Aruna program was held at the Mahawasi Raja Mahavihara in Pannegammo today. Concessionary loans were distributed here as well through the Janasovya program. The parliamentarian donated building material worth 126,000 rupees to the temple as well.
Now moving into more local news, there has been a new development on the death of the albino turtle which was placed under the care of the National Zoological Gardens in Dehiwala. The post-mortem examination has revealed that the turtle died because its lungs were pressurized.
That's right, a story that Newsfirst has been comprehensively covering. Early on in the day, the Newsfirst team visited the Dehiwala Zoo to inquire into the incident.
Newsfirst has been keeping a close eye into the controversy which built up surrounding the missing albino turtle from the Koskoda Turtle Sanctuary. One albino turtle was found dead. Now we at Newsfirst have arrived at the Zoological Gardens to receive an update on the post-mortem examination which was conducted on this albino turtle, and also to receive an update on the rest of the 3 albino turtles. Let's go in and see as to what these officials have to tell us.
Following a court order issued by the judiciary last Thursday, 4 albino turtles, which belong to the Koskoda Turtle Hatchery, were brought to the National Zoological Gardens in Dehiwala. The officials from the zoo said that the turtles were kept in an artificial environment. However, we were not allowed to get any footage of the turtles or the dead albino turtle.
When we spoke to the relevant authorities at the Dehiwala National Zoo, we were told that the post-mortem report of the albino turtle that died day before yesterday will only be released to media tomorrow. And they further reiterated that the rest of the 3 albino turtles are currently lying in safe conditions at this aquarium. I'm Joel Outskoon, reporting from the Dehiwala Zoo for Newsfirst.
We cannot make any statement with regards to the dead albino turtle. We have to conduct a post-mortem examination and will have to come to a conclusion subsequent to the veterinarian's report. The albino turtle died after it was placed under the care of the zoo. We will be filing a report to the judiciary after the post-mortem examination.
Moving into some sports news, the Sri Lanka men and women's beach volleyball teams won their respective matches at the 3rd Lusophonia Games today.
The nations that were once part of the Portuguese Commonwealth participated in these games that were held in Goa, India.
Sri Lanka faced East Timor in the first round of the men's beach volleyball event. Sri Lanka clinched a comfortable 2-0 victory. The Sri Lanka women's beach volleyball team also recorded a 2-0 victory in their encounter against Mozambique.
Meanwhile, the Sri Lanka table tennis mixed doubles team of Rohan Sirisena and Ishara Madhurangani lost against Portugal and failed to advance to the semi-finals.
Quickly moving back to some local news from Parliament.
Yes, MP Andra Kumara Dissanayake also raised a question in Parliament today regarding the luxury cars that were imported to the country.
These vehicles were used for Chogam only on 3 days. The people have a right to know what happened to those vehicles. What happened to the cars that were imported? Was the government tender procedure followed when selling those cars?
Because it is done by a private company, that question is not relevant.
At what price was each car sold at, and how many were sold?
Because the cars were used for almost 2 weeks, the company reduced the value of the cars to 30 million rupees. The government has agreed to impose a tax according to that.
ඊට අනුරූපීව මේ සඳහා අයවී යුතු බදු මුදල් අය කිරීමට රජය එකඟ වී ඇත. ඒ වගේ වර්තමාන වෙළඳපොළ වටිනාකම කොච්චරද? රුපියල් මිලියන 33ක් පමණ වේ. එම වාහන අලෙවිය රජයට ලබා ගත හැකි තිබු ඉහළම ආදායම ලබා ගැනීමට හැකිව තිබේද? ඔව්.
To what institutions and persons have the other vehicles been given to?
රජයේ
Buses and other vehicles have been given to various government departments and ministries.
And with that, we wrap up primetime news at 9 for tonight. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Minoshi Ratnasekaran.
And I'm Madhushka Balasuriya, wishing you a very good night.
Take care.
First at 9.
Hotline 0114-896-896. www.newsfirst.lk. Feedback at newsfirst.lk.